he was getting madder and madder and madder.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard him pick up the phone, and he called 911. And he's like, "You need to send somebody over here. I'm about to beat my wife."
Oh my God.
Wow.
And so I ran out of the house, and we were in these little apartments. So I just went and hid in one of the adjoining buildings apartment laundry room.
Mm-hmm.
And once the cops came, I walked around and I could see him talking to him, and he made it seem like it was no big deal. We were just having a disagreement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they left, and I managed to get my suitcase in the car while they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to try to leave, and that's when he started punching the car, and he, dented the car really bad. And it was my grandfather's car. I had to borrow his car just to go over there because he wouldn't let me have my car.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
So
a fucking asshole.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to say that quiet, but
Yeah.
I went away, and I was too scared to go to my friend's house because I didn't want him to follow me there. So I went to an IHOP, and I called the friend that I was supposed to go meet for coffee, and they came and sat with me, and just kind of made sure it was safe for me to get to where I needed to go for the night. And the next day I told my brother, his brother, what had happened, because he made it seem like it was something completely different.
yeah.
Of course it did.
Well, classic manipulation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So his brother got so mad at him, he actually went and, fought him. And it made my husband flee to Texas because that's where their family is.
Wow.
So he just loaded up the car with everything he could fit in it, and he went to Texas. Plus, he had warrants at this time because my grandfather pressed charges on him.
Oh, because of the car and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I kind of was free for a while, and I had to go through the divorce proceedings. It took twice as long because he wasn't there, and I had to file the, articles in the paper and all that stuff. But I did finally get the divorce finalized.
Good.
And during that time, the friend that I was meeting for coffee, we kind of picked up a romantic kind of relationship. And that went off and on for about 4 years. And it wasn't a bad relationship. We were always good and, messed with cars. And I didn't do drugs or anything like that while we were together.
That's one big step.
Exactly. And he's the one who actually encouraged me to go to the Army because now I had just, I was done with school, but I had all this student loan debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, you go there and they'll help you pay your student loans off. And so I was like, yeah, I could do that, but I had to lose some weight first. I was a little overweight. But I did. I worked hard and I got over there, went to the recruiter, and he got me all signed up.
Yeah.
So I shipped
now
off.
life is on a totally different
path.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I did have to get a waiver from a judge saying that, my background was dismissed because it had still showed up on there. But
that's one thing. Like, I joined the National Guard, and like I would never tell the National Guard people that I had done drugs or that any of my history with drugs. And I even said I didn't smoke marijuana. And so I just...
Because you knew it would blow your chances for
well,
having...
I didn't know, but I just assumed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I went and signed up, and then it was November 9th, 2009. I shipped off to boot camp, and man, that was just such a culture shock. I was 28. I was older than everybody in my, boot camp anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as physically fit, I felt like an old lady. And I was coming in as a specialist because I had a college degree. So I was coming in, and they were expecting...
That really helps.
They were expecting me to have leadership skills, and I was like, do you know what I've been through the past 10 years? I can't lead myself out of a box.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it was really hard at first to see that side of people who it's hard to put into words. It's a whole different culture where you come out of the shower and somebody stole your dirty underwear or something, you know, and
wow.
having to shower with 60 girls in 10 minutes, you know, when you didn't ever get naked in front of anybody before, it was hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was in a pretty bad depression for most of my basic. And then one day
what was that depression from? Like, just how different your life was at the time and how it is now, or what?
That and being away from everybody, because I had managed in the 4 years I was off and on with my second husband, I managed to put my life back together with my family. And now I was leaving them and leaving my husband.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, but leaving my, boyfriend and going to do something completely new away from home for the first time. And
sure,
just the culture shock of how mean people are and how little they care about you and your feelings was really hard adjustment.
Sure.
And female, like when I went to basic training, they were ruthless, man. Like the females that I went to basic with were ruthless
to each other.
Oh, yeah.
They were just,
yeah. It was something else, that's for sure. But one day we were doing this hike, you got to get up early and hike through the woods all the time. And we were doing a hike and I just kind of looked around and I was like, you know what? It's beautiful here. I've never noticed it because I've just been in so much pain.
Where
did you
your
go
basic
to basic?
Oh, I went to basic in South Carolina at Fort Jackson.
Okay.
And then I did my AIT in Virginia.
And what was your MOS?
92 Gulf, which is a food service specialist.
Okay.
I joined as that because my recruiter told me, you can be a cook and you won't have to deploy to Afghanistan because they have local nationals that cook in Afghanistan. So you'll just get to stay in America the whole time. Little did he know.
Yeah, little did he know.
So I finished my basic and my AIT, and my first duty station was Fort Polk, Louisiana. And so I got there, fresh-faced and ready to go. And the second I got to my unit, they were like, oh, we're leaving in 3 months for Afghanistan, so you need to hurry up and get ready.
Man.
You're like, hold on, wait.
So
what? Just
ironic,
Yeah, so I was just, I was shocked again, and then the depression hit again because I wasn't ready. I didn't think. And so they let me go home on leave before we left. My boyfriend at the time had proposed. He was like, don't leave without us getting married because I don't want to lose you. And, I didn't think it was a good idea. Just some told me don't do it, but, wait till you get back from Afghanistan. But I don't know why I did it, but I went home. We got married to the Justice of the Peace. And then I went back and got ready to go to Afghanistan.
Wow.
So like my second day at my unit, I got introduced to our command sergeant major of our battalion. And at the time it was 10th Mountain 230 Infantry.
Okay.
I think it's a 310 Infantry now, but when I was there it was 230, the Wild Boars.
And like that's what being a cook, I imagine, is like. Like you have to cook for a unit, right? And that could be anything. It could be infantry, it could be a truck driver or whatever, but you just so happen to get stuck with an infantry unit.
How many people? Yes. How many people is that? Do you like?
We had, I want to say we had about 60 people per company, and we had 5 companies with us in Afghanistan.
Wow.
So it was quite a big turnout we were going with.
Yeah.
Now, what I found interesting was my sergeant major, he was like, oh, you're a specialist, so you've got college? And I was like, yeah. And he says, are you good at shooting? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty decent. I'm not an expert, but I can hit my target.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, okay, I need people for my female engagement team. So I'll be in contact with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like my 5th day, I've only been in the DFAC, the dining facility, a couple times. Haven't even really touched anything or cooked anything yet, just served food because I'm still so new.
Yeah.
And I find out that I'm no longer going to be assigned to my support unit, that they're going to assign me to the HHC unit to be on the command's personal security detail.
And did they use you for like when they stop a female or whatever?
Yes.
That was their main thing they used you for?
Yes.
Okay.
It was me and another female cook because the recruiter was right. We didn't have to cook in Afghanistan. They did hire local nationals, but that meant we had to do other jobs.
Yeah.
So we ended up we had 16 infantrymen that we lived with the year we were in Afghanistan. And for the 3 months before we left and 6 months after we got back, we were with them. So we trained with them, worked out with them. Everything they did, we had to do.
Sure.
Ruck marches, weapons, training, everything. So me and my roommate, Bernarbe, her and I, man, we're still really good friends to this day, just because I don't think you can go through what we went through together and not be able to be friends.
For sure. You create such a deep bond when you go through trauma and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we were used to being the only girls most of the places we went. And if they did stop a local national that was female and need to talk to her, we would get an interpreter and speak with them. But it very rarely happened.
Yeah.
She ended up being a gunner and manning the big 50 cal on the top of our trucks.
Wow.
And I started off being one of the people that would get out and walk around with the sergeant major to just kind of watch his back.
Yeah.
And pull his security and stuff. And then I ended up being a driver towards the end.
Okay.
And we were very busy. We had a very tight schedule. And because we had the command sergeant major and the battalion commander with us, they had to go out every day. So we went outside the wire every single day.
Wow.
Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And, sometimes they would just want to go shopping in the bazaar, and we would just go down there and they would look at stuff,
Yeah.
just oblivious of any kind of trouble happening. But we were also in one of the most dangerous areas, from what I understand. One of our cops was Cop Shark, and they made a movie about it called The Shark Tank.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
every morning it got attacked, and every evening at sundown it got attacked. And so the guys
Like
at that
clockwork.
place, I think pretty much everybody at that company that was at that base got a Purple Heart. Like,
Wow.
it was really bad. And we lost 11. Well, at the end, it was 13 altogether. We lost 13 people from our battalion.
That's
that year we were there.
That's so many.
Yeah.
It really is. And because we were part of the command team, we had to go to every funeral, and we had to respond to every accident. So we had the fastest spin up time. We could get out the gate in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
From dead sleep. Like, we were quick.
Yeah. Did you ever sleep though? Like,
surprisingly, yes, I could sleep anywhere, and it was so crazy. A couple times we did a training exercise where we would have to go to Cop Shark and run the cop, pull security, cook the food, serve the food, so that the people who were normally there could go out on an engagement mission or whatever and do what they did in the town. And I just remember being so scared when we were there, because it was hot, and it's scary to drive there.
Yeah.
How hot does it get there in the summertime?
It's actually the weather